Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our Making It Together live educational event. I'm Josh Ellsworth with Stahls and Stahls Transfer Express, and I'm excited to be broadcasting to you this morning, Thursday. It's Thursday, right? Yeah, Thursday, April. I had to check the date on my computer. Thursday, April 23rd, where the NFL draft is going. So I'm wearing my jersey because I'm excited for today. Of course, I'm a sports guy, so I'm super excited to have something to watch on TV, how the shots will move from different players' homes and different broadcasters' homes to, an event like we've never seen before. And so I'm excited for that, but also want to talk to you a little bit today about Stahls' participation in the NFL draft. So usually this is a exciting time of the year when we get to be behind the scenes at the draft, and we decorate the jerseys for the first round draft picks on the night of the draft. So we always send a crew in, and we'll have a Hotronics Fusion heat press behind the scenes, and we get to know the pick a little bit before time when the commissioner gets to know as well. We heat print a jersey. I think we have 1.5 to 2 minutes to make sure we get the right name with the right jersey. It's all number one on draft night for the players, and then give that to a representative from Nike historically, who then hands it off to the commissioner and then goes up on stage and hands it to the player that's drafted. So it's pretty exciting. And so I see Freddie's already signing off because he's a Giants fan. I'm actually a Steelers fan, so that might isolate some of you. The reason I chose to wear this jersey today, of course, Kyler Murray was the first draft pick last year for the Arizona Cardinals. And so I wanted to buy this jersey because it was the first one that I was involved with from working with the sales team and everything with setting it up at a level of detail. And also because it had this cool product on it, which is like Flex Style, which is this, we're calling it like liquid embroidery. It's a texture design, has the NFL 100-year anniversary badge. And so it has a lot of meaning to me as far as how it's made, how the jersey's made. And also we opened up our Transfer Express facility in Arizona last year and started completely manufacturing and shipping transfers out west. So I had to have the jersey last year. So yeah, go Steelers. That's my team. I was going to wear the James Conner jersey, but decided to go with last year's first round pick today. So I want to thank you all for joining me. Yeah, Sharon, good to see you from Cleveland. Hopefully you will have some good picks this year. We're wishing good picks for everybody. I'm hoping I just get to see the picks play this year. I don't know what we're going to do this year for fantasy football drafts, if that'll be pushed back or what's going to happen here. Here's Freddie's comment. He's on from New Jersey, Giants fan, of course. So Saquon Barkley, it has to be an exciting player for you guys to watch. And let's see, who else do we have watching? Yeah, so we have KF watching from South Carolina, and go Steelers. Got to get that on the screen. And let's see, we have Candy from watching this morning from Arizona. So I'm representing you all today. Mike from Canada, and Patty, good to see you this morning. And we have folks from Chicago, Washington, all over watching today. So I gave a class yesterday. I want to go through a couple different things. Let's stick on the draft theme first. Let me show you what's happening this year, give you a little sneak peek inside. So I'm going to share my screen with you. And so this is some behind the scenes over the last 2 years of heat printing at the NFL draft. So up on the top left of the screen, you're seeing the basically the size of the space that we are decorating in. So these are 3 of our team members that are hovered over the list of pre-done names here. And you can see 2 Hotronics Fusion heat presses in the room. So always have to have a backup or 2 machines for an event like this. So we queue one up with the next pick and then one with the following pick. And then we'll actually cut somewhere around 2,400 combinations of names and different colors. And so depending on who's picked, we have to make sure we usually have the right jersey on unless there's a last second trade, but we have to make sure we get the right name with the right jersey. And as you'll see in the picture up there, the number ones are already heat applied or sewn onto the jerseys in advance. And we're just doing name drops to match. So it's a pretty cool, pretty fast paced experience from what I hear in the back. Never had a chance to participate personally in one. This was going to be my year. It's going to be a great event out in Vegas. I guess I'll hold my breath for next year. Also, you see our crew down here in the bottom left representing some of their favorite teams. And then I did have an opportunity, our facility here in Pennsylvania called Stahls DFC. We get to do a lot of preparation for the jerseys in advance, and we're the division that's actually creating the name bars and the customization in prior years and prepping all of that. So I got to be interviewed last year by a news channel, which was kind of cool, and bring them behind the scenes on how it's made. So this year it's a little bit of a change because we won't have the heat presses to be able to. Unfortunately, Amazon doesn't even deliver that quick to get the jerseys there within 2 minutes. But what we've done is we've made some modifications. So tonight at the draft, you will still see jerseys that have been personalized from Stahls, and they are all sitting in the commissioner's house as we speak right now. So instead of the player name this year live on air, what you'll see is the team name on the back of the jersey. And I think there's something like 6 teams that have unveiled new jersey types. So I'm excited to take a look at those live on air and for you all to see those if you haven't read about that yet. But what I want to spend my time talking about really is about the product that's used to make the jerseys. So what you're seeing here, we have 2 different products that we use, both of which start with a twill material. So twill is what you typically see on jersey numbering. It has the fabric based feel to it. It's a polyester based material, and we sell twill here at Stahls in several ways. We sell it by the roll. We can cut it for you. And then for licensed products like you're seeing here, we do some decoration for the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, and other professional sports leagues. And so 2 versions that you see on the screen is Permatwill and CAD Prints Permatwill. The cool thing about Permatwill is it doesn't have to be sewn. If you cut it with a laser, which is what we do, it seals the edge, so it's not going to fray when it's laundered, and you can just heat apply it to get it to stick. So you may have heard of our product called Sim Stitch, which has like the simulated stitch edge. That product's made from Permatwill. If you've ever tried that, that's the same type of twill that is going on to these NFL jerseys for the draft picks, and also for the limited the limited jersey that the NFL sells to fans. And so Permatwill, it basically means it's single color. It means I don't have to sublimate it. I don't need to add additional color. So when we're dealing with a 1-color name, especially white, where it's not a problem to create a color match, we just cut that from the Permatwill, send a name strip ready to go, and all it needs to be done is it heat applied. And we can do this for you too if you want to put names or numbers on the back of jerseys. Then on the right-hand side, you'll see CAD Prints Permatwill. And so the Bengals have the first pick at this moment in time in tonight's draft. We expect that they'll draft the quarterback out of LSU, Burrow. And what you'll see here is the Bengals have a 2-color on their name and their number. And so rather than heat applying 2 layers of orange and white, in this particular case, we sublimate it, and we call that CAD Prints Permatwill. So we're actually using sublimation dyes, and we are printing those dyes onto a piece of paper. Then it gets applied onto the white polyester twill, and then it goes through a cutting process again with an optic eye cutter to be able to cut the name, to be able to have everything pre-spaced. So it's just single step, place it, and heat apply. So we've shared links out on some of our feeds to some of those products. But we're really excited. It'll still be a fun night, and we'll get to enjoy it from the comfort of our home. So hopefully you all enjoy the draft, and who knows, maybe you'll get a glimpse of a Stahls heat press from a previous year. I'm not sure what the coverage will look like, but those are a couple products that you can check out if you want to know how it's made and share how it's made with your customers on your Facebook pages to say, hey, here's the supplier we use and the quality. Even the NFL goes for it. So Todd, this is funny. So hopefully, I don't know if you're a Bengals fan or not, but I'll share it. Hopefully you're a Bengals fan and not just ripping on them. I'd say whoever picks after the Bengals end up with the Hall of Fame player, laugh out loud. So I'm pretty sure, I can't remember who's picking there, but Chase Young, I think, is slotted at number 2. So anyway, should be a fun night. Before I head over to the heat press and start making some stuff with you, I'm going to do a very short recap because this has been documented in videos on our Facebook page and our YouTube page on the face covers and the face mask. I just want to make sure the message is not missing anybody. What you'll see here is these are live on Stahls right now, and these should be live on Transfer Express. They were supposed to go off at 11. I haven't had a chance to check, but if not right now, should be shortly. These are economy face covers. It's a single ply 50-50 cotton. We sell them blank in packs of 10 for $15.90. So if you're looking for just an economy face cover, not an extremely durable product, but it's a product that we've priced inexpensively in small pack size. So you can source these from us in the colors of black, navy, and also dark heather gray. You can apply transfers to those. It's just 50-50. And then we have the premium face masks that I've been talking about for weeks that are 2 layers of polyester and then a built-in Pellon filter. Those are a little nicer. They have a higher minimum, 150 pieces, and they go for $2.99 each when they're blank. Or if you get them decorated, it's $3.99, and we can sublimate them for you. But you can get those in gray, applied here with stretch litho, which is one of our transfer types. You can also get it in black, applied with stretch litho, or you can get it in white. Again, it's 100% polyester, so this one's applied with stretch litho. But if you have a sublimation printer or want to order CAD print sublimation, just like I can sublimate on polyester twill for those name bars for the NFL, we can also sublimate on polyester fabric. So this shows you a white base one that has then been sublimated with just a panel of a sublimation print. So those are available. You can check them out over at the Stahls website. We'll share the links with you. I'll pull them up real quick to show you how to get to them. Let me get rid of my presentation here. Going to go over to the Stahls page, and over on the Stahls page, you can just go to stahls.com. And up in the top, you'll have the apparel tab. Just click on apparel, and then you'll see our economy face coverings and our premium face masks. You can read about complete info there, and there's a quick link featured on the homepage as well. So check those out when you get a chance, and let us know what you think about them, and we'll go from there. Okay, so let's head over to the heat press, and I'm going to move you a little bit closer. Actually, I'll try to move you a lot closer today because we're going to be spending a lot of time over at the heat press today. And I'm going to run you through a job. And this is a job, and I'll show you how I laid it out and designed it here in a little bit. This is a job that I'm actually doing, excuse me, for my daughter's local school. And we're seeing a lot of this right now. You know, the one where they were quarantined or whatever it might be, whether it's seniors or teacher, or you can change the top text to whatever you want. We're seeing a lot of different takes on the zeros being swapped out for toilet paper or face masks covering the zeros, which is what we chose to do here. Or I've even seen that be the school's logo. Our school's a lion head, so we're doing some shirts like that as well. And I was able to fit 2 of these up. I wanted to make sure I added the school name underneath, which made it a little bit more personal. This is a screen printed transfer. It's our Goof Proof formula from Transfer Express, Goof, Goof, proof. And I was able to fit 2 up, and then I just dropped in a design. Not sure when I'll use it or if I'll use it, but I wanted to have another design ready to go so I didn't waste the gang sheet, because I'm paying for this whole sheet of paper regardless of what I'm doing. And so I see, I'm seeing a lot of people are doing something similar for birthdays. That's a good idea. Have one of those coming up, actually for my daughter in about a week on the other side of the wall. So it's a great idea. And good. And should be caught up on that. So I, of course, pre-pressed one before I went live on air. We just sourced these canvas bags. In this case, my wife's a programs coordinator at the school, so she just found this bag somewhere online and bought a lot of them. And canvas is a cotton-based material, and so Goof Proof is a perfect selection for it. And I've set up my heat press. I've taken off the 16x20 attachment, which is an easy swap out on this Hotronix auto clam, and I've loaded in the 11x15. 11x15 is my favorite attachment for doing hoodies, bags, and the like. So the process for this is really simple, and we're going to press a lot of them together. So I'm just going to split this and load it onto the press. This bag is wide enough to be able to split and thread on my press, even with the base of the auto clam being a little bit wider. I like to start with a preheat. I didn't want you to have to watch me trim everything, so I've trimmed all my designs. These ones I'll just save. until I can sell a t-shirt with that on it. And I have a stack over here of all my designs that have been trimmed that are ready to heat apply. So real simple. In this case, you got to remember you're loading the bag right side up, because if you've threaded before, usually your t-shirt's upside down. So make sure you put your design in the proper location. I'm just going to preheat, and then I know the markings on the bag as far as the grid lines where they need to be on the paper that I'm working with. And I'm just going to heat apply. Goof Proof takes 360 degrees, 3 to 5 seconds. It is a hot peel, so I'm just going to press it. I peel the backing hot. That piece goes in the trash, and I have a completed bag. I always like to put the design a little up higher on a bag, because when you start to fill the bag with stuff, that's of course when you lose your design, because you're not seeing as much of the bottom of the bag. So you'll get to see how I work a little bit, and I'd welcome you to ask questions as we're doing this. This job won't take too long. I just wanted you to see how easy it was to do a 20-piece job with this product. So yeah, we've shared a link to the quick change platens. So as you'll be able to see, the quick change platens make it easy to get your item flat. So if you are heat printing, getting your item flat is critical. If you're using pillows and pads, that works. But one thing I always say is you're going to be able to have a lot more efficiency when you're dealing with an interchangeable platen. And what I mean by that is it's much easier just to split and load that bag in a quick fashion. So interchangeable platens come in a lot of different sizes. 16 by 20 is your standard platen that comes on the press. 11 by 15 is the one I have loaded here. I also, if you're just buying your first heat press, I recommend getting a 6 by 10 platen. 6 by 10 is great for sleeve prints, left chest prints, getting rid of buttons, anything like that when you're heat applying other types of products. And you just want to make sure you get that area completely flat. I had a strap caught up on there. And this keeps it quick and easy. So when I'm training our sales folks on why should customers buy a Hotronix heat press, of course, there's the whole quality aspect that don't want to minimize, and the durability, and just, you can trust these machines. But really, I go to what you can make with it, because I think what you can make with it is why you buy a heat press, right? We invest in a heat press because as apparel decorators, we want to earn an income. We want to make money. We want to make profit. And so when we're talking about Hotronix, I like to say you can make more with this heat press, both deep and wide. And so what I mean by that is wide is pretty simple. If you go into a business or a school or whoever you're selling to, because of the design of this press and really the loadability right at the heart of the machine, you can split, thread, get more items flat to be able to print more items than with any other machine on the market, because of how we've designed this machine. So that's the wide aspect. Basically, you go in and you have more sales opportunities. The deep aspect is I can print more shirts per hour on this machine than I think you can with any other press, especially when you look at the auto clam, the way I'm able to multitask while I'm working. And you also consider, some people that do some volume consider our air presses and how you're able to work on our dual air fusion, which while the press is down, you can actually be loading the bag on the next platen with the way that press is manufactured. So even if you're not a high volume shop, if you're a one-person shop, I would say time is the most important thing to your business, and valuing your time. Actually, you'll hear some great advice from Todd, who is on today, in a podcast that I did recently with him and Aaron Montgomery, that talks about placing a value on your time specifically. And so that's a really good listen. But even as a one-person shop, time is absolutely critical. because the last thing that you want to do is take an hour to print a run of bags when it could have taken 15 minutes. And so tools like the right heat press for the job, the right platen for the job, will deliver time back to your day over and over again. So you'll be able to get more accomplished even with just a single operator business. So that's kind of the deep and wide of the heat press with what you can make with it. Now, when you talk about time in a business, the other tool that I think is indispensable if you're doing any heat transfer vinyl work is speeding up your weeding, right? Best way to speed up your weeding is to eliminate it. And you can see I'm eliminating the weeding here. So instead of doing these and weeding and all of this detail out and having to mess with that, I just ordered it in a screen printed transfer. Or if it were a special effect design, I could order it already pre-done from Stahls. But you can see here, it's going to eliminate the weeding process. All I need to do is trim apart my designs, place, and press. And the last thing I want to say with that is if you still have to weed the design because it's a low quantity run, how you save time on that is by investing in something called a heated weeding table. And the heated weeding table will actually warm your heat transfer vinyl while you're weeding. And so you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about how long it takes and all the breaking. It typically reduces your weeding time by about 50%. So I forgot to count before I started. That's always a good thing. So let me count it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Got 9 more to do. I'm going to go ahead and look for questions while I'm doing this. Yeah, so yeah, the panel is a good idea. Mike says, love the panel, the weeding panel. And there's 2 options when it comes to weeding for heating your surface. There is a weeding table and there is the weeding panel. The weeding table is definitely a larger design. It's something that you're going to need a full tabletop size to get. It's about, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet as far as the width, whereas the panel is kind of the size of this 11 by 15 platen is about what it looks like. And it lays flat on the table. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles where it inclines towards you, but it is effective. Something you can tuck underneath the table when you're done, or even underneath the bed. It's a really narrow design, and just pull it out when you need it. I've heard some people say that panel runs too hot for them, and some of our other customers have shared, put it on a dimmer switch like you would a lamp. So if it's too hot for your hand when you're weeding on the panel, just put it on a dimmer switch. You can buy one of those from Amazon, and that's going to help you a lot to be able to reduce the temperature when you're weeding and still have it effective. So we shared links to some of that stuff. All right, so Barb says, we love our Hotronix Fusion. So yeah, Fusion is another great machine. Fusion's actually a little bit more versatile than the Clam as far as what it can print. And that's because if you look underneath this press, this has a little wider footprint. So I'm just clearing this footprint to get this bag on. So something much narrower than this bag design would be tough for me to be able to load on here. And I may have to go to a pillow or a pad. But with the Fusion, underneath the platen is just a really narrow design. It's probably only about 3 or 4 inches wide, the base of it. And that narrow base lets you get even the tightest print locations or pockets or whatever you're doing. And so the Fusion is a great machine. Get the question a lot, should I go with the Fusion or the Clam? People get stumped there a lot as far as which machine they should invest in. I invested in the Clam because I had a space constraint, right? And also, when you look at the Clam, you are operating underneath the heat for your placement, but you're only doing one mechanical operation with your arm, just literally locking the machine down. So on the Fusion, you have to lock it down, open it, swing it away, and swing it back. So you're doing more work with your arm. Not a big deal. Some people don't mind it at all. And honestly, I tend to lean more towards the Fusion when I'm just doing a video when we're in the studio, because it can do a lot more as far as like the items that it can fit onto it. But for me and what I was looking to do at home, the Auto Clam was the right choice. So what I'd say is don't get stuck on which press to get. Just get a heat press, get a quality heat press. It's going to be threadable. Both machines are going to be great investments for your business. And don't rule out the fact that an air press may be a good fit for you, because as you start to grow in your business, the air press machine is really going to save your arm. We're seeing people that are printing literally hundreds of thousands of pieces with those air press machines every year. And their operators operate those machines sometimes for 8-hour shifts and don't have to worry about being worn down at the end of the shift from pressing. You can imagine if I did this all day. Now, naturally, I wouldn't be talking and losing my breath, but if I did this all day, I may be pretty worn out at the end of the day. And for that, it's always recommended when you're pressing, if you're out on a shop floor or in your garage, put a nice padded floor down for those folks that are operating your heat press. That will make them more comfortable when they're operating the machine. And it does make a big difference at the end of the day. So this is my last one. And we've completed the job. So just like that, 20 bags. We're about the 26-minute mark in the video. I'm going to guess. I didn't look when I started this, but I'm going to guess I started this at about the probably about the 13-minute mark. So about 12 to 15 minutes to do 20 bags. And the Goof Proof just feels really great on here. It is screen printing. It blends really nice with the canvas-based fabric. I love it for this application. All right, let me move my heat press or my camera view back down. And I'm going to show you a little bit about design, price, and also take some questions. All right, so over here on our EasyView designer screen, this is where I've created my transfer. And EasyView is just really nice because there's a lot of layouts and clip arts that you can work from. And the thing I wanted you to see here really is the price more than anything. So over in the top hand right, you can see I've selected a screen print as my transfer type. I've selected Goof Proof as my ink formula. And there's quite a few different ink formulas here, but Goof Proof is our most popular. If you want something a little bit softer, if you were doing like a ring spun cotton t-shirt, you may want to select our hot split. It's a little bit softer on a t-shirt, but Goof Proof is really dependable and nice and quick application. Then you map your colors, and over here on the colors, if you click on this, it brings up all of the colors in the particular ink formula that you're in. And something I love here is you can actually pick a no ink color, and I will give you a demo of how that works. And then at that point, it will quote you a price at the bottom. So you can see, I just put 3 random designs up. Could probably fit even something else, maybe a couple face cover designs on here with my extra real estate. But these 3 designs, $65 at the 20 sheet increment. So that's about $3 a sheet, which is going to cost me about $1 a design. And that would be about the equivalent of the size that I just put on this bag. I had the extra line of text underneath, which we could certainly fit. So that gives you an idea. And of course, like it's screen printing, so we're burning a screen to create the transfer. So if you get 50 of these, actually, let me do 100 so I can do math in my head. You can see it's only going to be $1.62 a sheet, which is going to bring your cost down to about 55 cents per transfer, per decorated bag for your design. And so very easy. So what I like to say, it's your cost of materials, right, which includes your bag and your transfer. Then your other direct cost is your labor, which is everything from cutting apart the transfers to applying the transfers. So I have about 20 minutes in this whole job. And then after that, I need to make sure that I apply the overhead. I can do that as a rate, or I can do that based on a time factor. And then I get a total cost. So all in all, a bag like this that cost me about a couple bucks As you can see at the transfers, I have about $1 in it per bag. So I'm looking at about probably $5 to make that. I can sell that bag at a 20-piece run all day for $10, probably more. In this case, we're donating them. It's a gift, but I wanted to at least give you a concept of some profit opportunity on 20, 30 minutes of your time. Now, just to show you a little bit more about EasyView and what you can do in it, I'm just coming back to one design. And let's just say, we wanted to make this 2020 bigger. And of course, you can always customize anything on here just by changing the text. You can add additional text as well. So if I wanted to make this for the school that I was decorating for, do that, size it. Font changes. There's a lot of fonts in the system. Transfer Express does a great job at adding new fonts. So pick whatever you like, change the font. And then the Clipart library inside of here is just tremendous. So a lot of the value of what you're buying is the artwork library. So if you're not a designer especially, or even if you are a designer, making stuff takes time, use this library to your advantage. There are literally tens of thousands of pieces of clip art. So last night I went on and I said, hey, I want a lion design. So you can search for lions and we can see that there is a ton of lion clip art here, whether that's full color or single color. There's so much you can work with here. So select what you want. It drops it onto the screen and then you can move it around. So you can see on this lion, it has two colors in it. It has the black and it has the no ink color. This is really cool because you'll notice something. The no ink color is something we call show through. That's where you want the garment to come through. So there is an object, but we're not going to print ink where that object is. And so if you slide this over top of, actually, let me just go ahead and let's see. Oops. Let me just go ahead and grab this and slide it over part of the 2020. I'll get rid of the Mount Moriah text. You can see that you have this invisible object around the lion head that creates this show through between this object and the object that I am overlapping it on. And so that no ink or that show through is really beneficial when you're designing because you can create something really cool and still keep it one color. And have that garment showing through to separate the colors, which makes the graphic look good. And by keeping it one color, you're not going to add extra cost in this screen printing process. So if I wanted to do something similar, you can move the order. So if I don't want Mount Moriah being underneath the lion, I can go on order and I can bring that layer to the top. You can see it doesn't have a invisible ink color around the outside. So in order to change that, all I'm going to do is under my special effects menu on the left here, I want to make sure you're seeing it. I'm going to click show special effects and I'm going to go into my effects and I'm going to look to add an effect to that Mount Moriah text. Let's look to put a outline on it. So this touching outline, you can see it added an outline of gray. I can change the size of that outline just with the ± command over here on the right. And I can also change the color of that outline. If I just click on that gray color swatch, and say, make that no ink color. And just like that, I can click done and it's completed that no ink color around the Mount Moriah. So you get a better looking design. So lots of functionality here in EasyView. I probably should do a whole class on how to design in EasyView. That's something I'll consider for a future session. But I just wanted to give you a taste of it today so you can see some of the functionality that is available to you. I'm going to look for questions here. Question from Debbie, should you have the heat press in a place where it's cool all the time and not indoors because of toxins? No, nothing to worry about really on the heat press unless you have a parakeet in the room or something like that because it is a Teflon coated top heating element. And I know those can have negative effects specifically on birds. But outside of that, no. We have people with them in spare bedrooms all around the world. If you're, depending on what you're heat pressing, you may get some fumes off of the items that you're heat pressing, whether that's the garment or the transfer. So if that's something that is bothering you, sometimes it's as easy as sourcing another type of blank. But I have had it before where I've heat pressed a blank that had a lot of dyes or something in it and really kind of gassed up a small space pretty quickly. And so ventilation is key to be able to do that. All right. And yeah, so here we go. Danita says, I had a valuable lesson. My last press charred. We don't want any charring presses. No idea when it started. The new one I ordered clearly says put it on its own circuit. It's going on a 20 amp. So yeah, most heat presses, our presses pull 14.5 amps. And so we always recommend a dedicated 20 amp circuit. I have this heat press because I didn't wire this room for the heat press. I just happened to be here since we're in quarantine. My garage is wired for the heat press. I was able to plug this in, but I looked at my circuits in my house. I have the heat press plugged in on this wall on this side, and then I ran all of my other stuff, my computer stuff, plugged in on an extension cord that's out on another circuit. And so yeah, you want to have a dedicated 20 amp circuit. You should have a fuse in the press that trips the breaker to keeps it from charring. So if you're using a Stahls press, I feel confident that it's not going to char. They're all UL and CE approved. So it's a product that's safe to use. The only thing I've seen people do to a Stahls press is they run it on a really thin extension cord, which is a no-no. It says it right up front in the manual. Don't run your press on an extension cord unless it's a thicker gauge, because then what happens is sometimes it can mess with the electronics of the press. Definitely won't put it on fire or anything, but mess with the electronics, especially on the ones with the touchscreens controls like the Fusion or the Air Fusion. In Cassandra, this is a free tool that's on transferexpress.com for designing, but it's only intended to be used when you're buying screen printed transfers, not designing for vinyl cutting or anything like that. Oh, cool, right? Learned 2 new things on EasyView. Yeah, so we'll spend some more time on EasyView. Maybe we'll have a dedicated session on that. All right, and I see the request for a webinar on print cut, so let me see what I can work up on that, KF. So I did do a webinar yesterday, actually, and it was on all about foil, and I have some of the looks here that I created. I'm not going to go too in-depth, but I wanted to show you some of the looks that I created with foil. So this is a foil design that's done with a 2-step process on 100% polyester. We cut adhesive on a vinyl cutter, heat press that down. We have videos on how to do that, and then heat apply the foil on top, and you even get some good, nice stretch and recovery with this. So that's something I wanted to show you is foil. All foil doesn't necessarily crack when it's stretched. It depends on the adhesive that's used. And so our CAD cut adhesive from Stahls that can be used as a base has some good stretch and recovery to it. So you can do stretchable foil, which is a really cool application. Let's see. The next example I want to show you, and this one, be able to show you on screen, this is that same process, but I wanted to show you the difference between pressing foil a second time with a cover sheet and then just pressing it a single time. So you can see this one, what it was pressed a second time, is more blended into the garment, and the side of it that was only pressed once, I hung half of it off my press, is shinier. So this lower luster is what you get when you press it a second time. It's also the effect you'll get if you let your foil product run through a hot dryer. So you just want to be careful about that. Foil is perfectly fine being washed and dried, but if you run it through a hot dryer, it will dull down the finish over time. The last example that I want to show you here today, actually I'll do 2. This shows you a distressed foil technique, where we actually crumbled up the first layer of foil and applied it down, which was the gold color. And then we took the green and laid it on top to create this 2-tone distress technique. So if you want to create something kind of cool, try distressing. You can create color combos and mix and match team colors, design colors, business colors, whatever you're looking to do. And then the last one is a striping technique, which I've shown a couple times now, but in case you guys haven't seen it before, this is where we applied the adhesive down, and then we took different just pieces, strips of foil, and laid it over top individually to create this really cool effect. And then, of course, when we cut the adhesive, we also put a striping effect in that adhesive. And so that weeds out really easily because there's no areas for it to break. It's all just thin lines that weed out together. So that's a pretty cool technique that you can do in your design software to create something that looks awesome and also is very lightweight because you don't have these big, large coverage areas of foil. And so Tim asks if this is a Stahls Flex style print on my jersey. I don't know that this exact one is Flex style, but that is the look of Flex style. So it may be a competitive supplier. I'm guessing with how these were made overseas in bulk initially. But we certainly have Flex style. This one would be a good equivalent to our metallic finish, whether that's you can get it textured or domed or flat, either way, and just heat apply them down, especially with the help of heated lower platen. So looking back through questions, make sure we shared some links on different stuff. Thanks for everybody that's helping me to manage the comments. All right, I think we're in good shape. Yeah, you can buy the 100% polyester mask from Stahls that we showed earlier and create your own sublimation prints for it, or order them from us, which is called CAD Prints Sublimation. Good. All right, so those were the topics that I had today. We're actually ended a little bit early, but that's okay. I'll give you some time back in your day, and I'll make sure I look in for questions over the next 15 minutes if anybody has those. So today, you should have learned a little bit about Stahls at the draft. Also, some products that are going to be used, like CAD Prints Permatwill for customizing the jersey, which is a product you can use with just a heat press in your business. You should have learned how easy it is to heat apply with a Hotronics press and to decorate more items faster with the combination of Goof Proof Transfers and the Hotronics Auto Open Clam. Should have learned a little bit about our face mask options, which are on the website now, and also check out some cool looks on foil that was from a webinar yesterday. So I want to thank everybody for joining. Hopefully the education is at least helping you learn new things and bringing a smile to your face for an hour out of each day. And if you're creating new stuff because of the education, we would just certainly love for you to share that and see what you're making. You can share that over in our Heat Press for Profit Facebook group. So have a great day. And Jenna will be live with you tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. And I'll see you again next Tuesday. Enjoy the draft.